Hello. I'm Skyler. I'm an intern at Collabora Productivity, and I've been working on enabling JS Dialogs in online. So, JS Dialogs are a way to render Collabora Online's dialogues in the browser rather than on the server. Tunnel dialogs, which you can see above, render on the server and then send over to the client, whereas JS Dialogs send over JSON of what the dialogue should be, and then render that in HTML on the client. So they're better because there's less overhead. There's no need to render on the server. We just have to send over some JSON, and we can send over little update deltas when we want to update parts of the dialogue. They're also better for accessibility. This is Chrome's Google's Chrome extension for a screen reader, and it can see what the different parts of JS Dialog are, whereas if you look at it on a tunnel dialog, it will just say like dialog area, and it won't be able to read that properly. And it looks much more consistent with the rest of the UI as well, which is rendered out in HTML elements. So to convert a tunnel dialog, you need to find the UI file. You can grep for specific parts of the dialog, and then you'll be able to find for perhaps specific bits of text that appear in your dialog, and you'll be able to see that. And then you can search for the name of the dialog in the code and find where the dialog is actually constructed inside core side. You need to make your dialog run asynchronously, because if you don't, it won't work for collaboration. Core side is used to build LibreOffice, and LibreOffice obviously doesn't necessarily need dialogues to be able to run at the same time. But when we're running Collabora Online, if multiple people have the dialogue open at once, we can't just wait on everyone to close the dialogue for changes to be saved. So we need to make it run async so that we can save the changes afterwards. And then we can add it to a file which enables it to be rendered as a JS dialog. And finally, we need to test it, and then we can push our changes to core side, and the dialog will be enabled. So when you're converting JS dialogs, you can use an environment variable as a substitute for editing the enable file, so that particularly when you're enabling tagged dialogs, you'll have to enable lots of dialogs at once. But if you can just use that, you won't need to recompile your version of LibreOffice in order to enable the dialog. Remember to test if the changes apply when you expect them to, because if you haven't made it run async, then they won't always apply. And finally, you can look in Gerrit and search for code pointers, and that can show you where other people have enabled similar dialogues, and that can help you to see where you may be facing any issues. So thank you very much.